Good evening, fellow inmates of the asylum. Or perhaps you've yet to be committed. Let's change that. Emilie Autumn is an enigma in every sense of the word. She has been enchanting audiences the world over for nearly 2 decades now, playing a plethora of musical instruments. Her siren song, filled with dark imagery and beautiful lyrics, is captivating to say the least. But today, we are not here to discuss her music. No, indeed, we are here to review her debut novel, The Asylum for Wayward Victorian Girls. And please, do keep something in mind.
You're in my house now, bitch!
I do apologize for the shakiness. I have recorded this video twice now with my new camera, only to realize that the memory card that we got for it is corrupted, and I am not doing this makeup again. So we are doing it on my phone. I am sorry. The world of Emilie Autumn is a dark and beautiful place, and I cordially invite you to come along for the ride. Fun fact, I found her looking for Jeffree Star lyrics, and the website was like, if you like Jeffree Star, you might like Emilie Autumn. Why? Because they both had pink hair at the time? They were nothing alike. The first song I heard by her was called Gothic Lolita, and I thought it was the ugliest song I'd ever heard in my life. Only when I realized what she was trying to do with her career, like normalize mental health, mental illness, and everything, was when I gave her a chance. And I fell in love with her song Swallow, and that is still my favorite song to this day. Speaking of Swallow, it is Hot Pink to me, which she has an entire chapter talking about how musical notes have colors, and letters have colors, and numbers have colors. Songs have colors to me. I don't know if that's synesthesia, but her song Swallow is definitely hot pink. Also, Jeffree Star is garbage, and so is his music. My favorite thing about Emilie is that she's growing up with me. A lot of fans of anything, will get upset when their favorite artist changes, but I like the fact that she's not screaming into a microphone anymore like she was in her 20s. I like the fact that she's getting trained to make her vocals better so she can perform on Broadway. I like that she's growing, and it makes me proud to be her fan. Tea break. Earl Grey is delicious. Look how pretty this teacup is. My boyfriend got me a whole set. I'm spoiled. So, the story of this book is that she's been writing it for about over 10 years now. She used to read it at concerts, the little bits that she had that she was working on a long time ago. I remember that very clearly. And then she finally came out with the hard copy version that had beautiful pictures, poetry, cooking recipes. It was like a whole world in a book. And then that was really expensive because all the work she put into it, and I really don't think anyone besides me bought it. So she came out with the ebook version and this. As you can tell, she's pretty thick. She's a thick girl. As for the book itself, it's pretty lengthy. It is forged from 2 different points of view, one being Emilie Autumn's autobiographical journal notes that she took when she was put into a mental ward after trying to commit suicide. The other half is notes that she receives from a little Victorian girl named Emilie with a Y, who is in a Victorian asylum in London called the Asylum for Wayward Victorian Girls, hence the name. As for grammar and punctuation, all of that's perfect. I love the different accents she puts into the different characters in Victorian London. It's very well researched. It really seems like a girl from London, England, the Victorian era is talking to me. But the formatting is a bit strange. It cuts off in the middle of paragraphs, in the middle of a sentence, and starts a new paragraph continuing that sentence. I don't know if she hired someone to format this for her, but if she did, I'd get my money back. It doesn't bother me personally. Well, it would if it was my book, but it's not my book. As long as I can understand what's trying to be said, I'm fine. The characters themselves, as at least the Asylum girls that Emilie with a Y interacts with, are based on Emilie Autumn's friends in real life. One being Veronica Varlow, her best friend, who Emilie with a Y falls in love with Veronica's character as their cellmates. And one being Captain Maggots, one of the Bloody Crumpets, the dancers that Emilie hires at her concerts. Her character is called Jolie Rouge, I think. She's a pirate, or at least she thinks she's a pirate. It's not really, it's pretty vague. It's not explicitly explained whether she created this persona as a way to deal with her trauma or she is actually a pirate. It's made pretty mysterious, and I appreciate that because I like to think she actually is a pirate. The story itself is pretty dark. It is about an asylum, and she does not shy away from the dark atrocities that Victorian medication was. The girls also have to endure a prostitution ring in this book. The doctors are all literally insane, and the girls themselves are just basically victims of circumstance and sexism. Um, it's really harrowing at parts and also cute and Disney-esque in parts, which I do appreciate. That's what I love. If you've read my novel, you'll understand. I love cutesy, child-friendly things juxtaposed with really dark things. I don't know why, that's always what I've liked. Other than Emilie Autumn herself and Emilie with a Y, there are letters from Madame Mornington, the head mistress of the asylum, in this book. And I do appreciate that because with those letters, we really understand why she goes about the decision that she makes toward the end of the book. Unfortunately, there is one problem with the main character of Emilie with a Y. I've read the book through and through. I still don't know her. She just seems like a blank slate, and she's on the edge of being a Mary Sue. She is amazing at violin, or so we've been told. I haven't heard her play. If she's based on Emilie Autumn, then yes. Um, the little Victorian girl, Emilie with a Y, she has no goals except for surviving and protecting her friends, which obviously. But I still don't feel like I know her. I feel like I know Veronica and Jolie Rouge more than I do Emilie with a Y, and that is disheartening. The ending itself was stronger, I believe, in the hardcover version. It's left very vague, mysterious, dark, and creepy. That ending is still in the paperback version. However, doctor's notes are tacked on at the end, copy pasting Emilie with an IE, her details of her journal in the mental ward, copying those passages, and then adding doctor's notes at the end. Like the doctors took her notes and scribbled over them, which takes away from it, from the original ending, in my opinion. I understand why she did it, but I just think the original was better. The story is beautiful, harrowing, dark. It's like a dark fairy tale. It's one of my favorite stories, honestly. It's probably my favorite book I've read in 2020. I know a lot of people are going to be like, what? Yeah, I'm serious. And it's not just because I'm a fan of hers. It's a really good book. And I've been waiting to read it for quite a while, and it did not disappoint. However, I will say that it's completely different than what I expected it to be when I used to listen to her book readings during her concerts. I thought it was going to be like an Alice in Wonderland-esque story in which she herself falls into a Victorian world mirroring her own and gets put into an asylum. That is not what it is, unfortunately. Tea break again. Is there whiskey in here? The world may never know. Reading this now as an adult, mostly the details of her journal entries when she was in a mental ward while I'm dating a paramedic, it hits a little bit differently. A lot of times I feel like the nurses themselves are trying to help her and she's just constantly shitting on them. I understand how she felt and what she was going through because I have mental illnesses myself, as you can tell by my trembling hand right now. I'm so sorry. Um, but at the same time, reading it, it's just they're trying to help you. I know that you're scared and you're worried and you're afraid, but it's just. If you are a fan of Emilie, or you were once a fan of Emilie, you will understand that she is not a stranger to controversy. I'm not going to go into any details about how she has upset people in the past, but I will talk about something that has directly to do with this book. In one of the chapters where she is detailing her experiences in the mental ward, the autobiographical portions, she is diagnosed with a eating disorder, and she goes on a tirade about how society views bigger people as better than skinnier people, which is very strange to me. She also says that all bigger people are unhealthy and that all skinny people are healthy, which is, as someone who has had bulimia and is technically overweight now, I am a billion times healthier than I was when I was sick. I'm sorry. But at the same time, I understand that my experience being a gay man who is overweight is going to be completely different than hers, a woman, a thin woman. And I understand that both experiences are valid. I just wish that she took the time and had some empathy toward people that are different than her. There are entire Tumblr blogs and websites dedicated to shitting on this woman, made by people who still call themselves fans because she has done something to offend them or otherwise piss them off. And I'm not saying they're wrong for it, because she has done some questionable things. I'm just saying, why are you so obsessed with her? Why are we as a society so bent on worshiping people until we realize they make mistakes, that they're humans, and then our entire existence goes from worshiping them to shitting on them? It's very strange to me. But I do agree with her, and I always have agreed with this. If someone is so miserable that they want to commit suicide, I don't see anything wrong with that. The only reason why it's illegal is because we're government property, and it's illegal to destroy government property, even if the property is destroying itself. Overall, I will have to give the Asylum Wayward Victorian girls 4 plague rats out of 5. The next story I'm going to read is a story of hers as well, because I just feel like it's appropriate. It's called The Gown, a short story by Emilie. I have no idea if it is connected to the Asylum for Victorian Girls, but I am very excited to get into it. Although I do not know that it is long enough to warrant its own review. Maybe I'll do a minute-long one on TikTok. Speaking of TikTok, I'm a lot more active over there than I am on YouTube. If you want to see some 15-second, 30-second, minute-long funny videos, subscribe to me there. But like, subscribe, comment, please. I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys have any requests, book reviews, let me know. I'm still going to be making Sims videos. I do apologize again about the shakiness of my hand. I literally tried my hardest to use my new camera today, and the memory card is just not having it. I'm really sad about it, but at least I'm getting something done. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. And shaking again. But then again, I lost my train of thought. 'Twas Pirelli's medical Alexa. It did not work, sir. No, it don't. How's my makeup? I worked pretty hard on it. Am I beautiful? You, unworthy child, are now an inmate of the Asylum for Wayward Victorian Girls.